today with Stephanie Napoli, who is the founder of Be Alive Coaching, and she's a life coach. And for people who aren't familiar with what life coaching is, do you want to just first give a little explanation?
What I tell people, my 3-second explanation is that coaching is a combination of therapy and sports coaching. You know, it has that element of course, dealing with issues that are to move you through your life, and those sort of topics, your life, your career, your happiness, if you're feeling anxiety, all of those things. On the other hand, it has to do with inspiring you, and what makes coaching different from therapy is really that you're the expert. And so with coaching, what I love about it is that we know that you're the only person who has your own answers. And so what I do is just ask questions and just guide you through a process of listening to yourself better and being guided internally by your own internal process.
What kind of introduced you to coaching, or what made you realize this was something that you'd be happy doing?
When I heard about coaching, I was in a place in my life where I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do. Does this sound familiar? What I had been doing. And I had never heard of a life coach before, and people in general didn't know what a life coach was. And so I was actually headed in one direction, decided to be a naturopathic physician, did all these prerequisites to a year and a half of pre-med classes, was accepted into a med school, and then decided not to go.
What was it, just a strong intuition, or what made you feel like, wait a second, this isn't what I want?
I was at a 10-day meditation retreat. I was sitting next to a woman who inspired me the whole retreat. It's like she was just like a stone goddess. And I felt like I wanted to move, and I wanted, so almost, 9 days later, we had a chance to talk. I found out that she was a naturopathic physician, and she said it's like a rat race. You come out, you don't have a job like a doctor, a typical doctor, and instead you just have to hang your shingle, and you just have to make it happen, and you're $200,000 in debt.
Oh, wow.
And she said, you know what it is that heals is your presence heals people.
Wow.
She said, you can do anything that you want, and you can heal people. She said, this being in the rat race, this is actually draining me, and she needed to now backtrack with all of this debt. It was part of her path, and needed to be sure that she was keeping herself not only recharged, but like in the best condition possible, so that she could heal people. And the intuition piece was that I was accepted into the med school, and I went to look for housing, and I would go there. It was in Arizona, and I would keep going there to look for housing. And I thought, I don't want to know anyone on these streets. I don't want to eat any of the food in this neighborhood. I just don't like it here. I don't want to be here. And actually, it was ironic. Again, I was actually meditating one morning when the thought came to me that I don't need to go.
Wow.
And I smiled.
Oh my goodness.
Once I realized that, then I had to immediately just start undoing what I had done, find a new place to live, find a job immediately, just all of those things.
Did panic set in when you changed your mind, like made that big decision? And
it wasn't panic, because I was happy about what I was doing. I knew it was the right thing. And so it was not panic, but I was concerned about money. I remember having this conversation with my dad. My dad never gives me money, never has, ever. And the universe just gives you things through people. And my dad gave me $1,000 to cover my rent. I was stressed about it, and like I said, he's never done this before. I never asked him. And I even said, I'm not sure that I want to take, I actually kind of said that. And he said, Steffi, which he calls me, he said, sometimes God gives you things through your daddy.
Oh.
And so that helped, that helped me to not have to put anything on a credit card. But I didn't go right into coaching after that because I still had to figure out what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wasn't doing that.
What did you do after that?
Well, I got the job that I'd always wanted to have my whole life. I always had like a serious job. I worked in public policy and organized events and things like that, and really stressful and confrontational, and I was on the good side, but So I phoned this woman to see if I can get, she has a studio for rent. I said, "Hi, my name is Stephanie Monroe." At the time, I'm looking for a studio apartment, and she said, "Stephanie Monroe, this is Betsy Carter, who's my best friend from like 4th grade."
Oh my God.
And I told her my situation. She said, "Oh my gosh, my dad owns 2 restaurants, and he'll get you in as a server."
That was your dream job?
And I've always wanted to be a waitress. I just knew it would be fun.
And it was fun?
It was so fun for a year. And then after that, I was done. It was like, okay.
Did you ever doubt yourself? Did you ever wonder midway or in the beginning, like, can I do this? Can I pull this off? Is this going to work?
And I felt the most doubt was when I was going into the business part of it. But I think most of it came at a time when I was deciding whether to go into it quickly or wait. And so I had like $20,000 in school debt still, and I wanted to go right in.
Yeah.
But I realized, and so I was nervous about it, but the nervousness actually subsided when I did what I think was the right thing, which was swallow that enthusiasm a little bit and just kind of ground myself. Even though I had already done all the coach training, I went into a 2-year job in my old work, public policy, so I could pay off my debt and save money before I started
so responsible.
coaching. And it was what was needed though, to keep me grounded.
Yeah. Once you got in alignment with like finding coaching and finding something that you felt so like connected in, do you think that life became easier? Because I always feel like once I find like exactly what I'm supposed to do, life will just be like perfect.
Right.
And I'm sure it won't be perfect, but did you notice how it affected other areas of your life?
It's like this, my internal life and my external life. I wouldn't have been able to shift if I hadn't internally been ready and done the work. And yes, then you end up, all of a sudden, before you know it, you're in a wonderful, healthy relationship. You're in a job that you feel passionately about and that you love, and you get to help people. And you're starting to be more abundant now when you always had a sense of lack and wanting. It's not like, oh, you find that thing and it solves your problems. It's not that way at all. I found it to be more, I'm on this path of growing myself, which you're on also. Yeah. So what happens is that I have found is that eventually it's inevitable that you can't. You're so filled with love and light that you can no longer be in that darker place.
I have a question for you as a mother to a very young child, because part of me and doing these projects is just like an anger that came out one day that was like, I feel like so many people, and at least, the Western world, are taught you go out and you work and you don't have to like it, and this is what you do. It's I don't feel like we're nourished to find out what lights us up. I feel like it's more competitive, more about achievement, with your happiness kind of pushed to the side. And obviously I'm finding that that's not going to work for me. What do you want to teach your son about, someday he'll be an adult and he'll have to make these decisions and definitely be pulled probably in a couple of different directions? What do you want him to know?
Well, what I try to do now, even, he's about 11 months old almost, is I try to give him a sense of abundance, that life is for him. I don't say no to everything, or almost anything. I try, if he's standing now, so if he's standing, I'm trying to make breakfast. I open the refrigerator, he hustles over there. And so he's in the refrigerator, and he's standing there, and at the bottom shelf are some tomatoes in an open container. And he pulls out the tomatoes and spills them on the floor, and he's now going like this on the floor with the tomato and the juice and the craziness. And so I guess what I'm saying is that's my way of teaching him that the world is yours. Yes to everything you want, unless there is a really good reason.
Yeah.
You know, you have these interests, you're lit up on something, so let's do it. If I can teach him that, then he'll grow up. And it will never even occur to him that you would not do what you love.
Yeah.
Why would you not do what you love? Of course you do what you love.
Yeah. That's so nice. I love that. I was either reading it or listening to something, and they presented the idea that, you know, when you're a kid, hopefully you feel safe and completely supported by your parents. And I know I never had work. Like, you always, someone's taking care of you, there's food on the table, you just feel supported. And the idea was, as an adult, when that's not there, you need to believe that the universe is going to do the same exact thing. And I thought, like, what a concept.
And the universe did it from when you were born, too, just through your parents.
Yes. Yeah.
And the universe continues to do it through different people that are loved ones of yours.
Yeah.
And opportunities that are random. If you call for a studio apartment, you get a job. Which is what you needed. Yes.
Did you find that a lot of that kind of stuff happened when you know, I feel like it was a huge decision to not go into medicine.
And last minute.
Yeah. Did you find that once you did that, more things like that started to happen?
The gates opened. It was like a flood of those things.
That's awesome.
And
that's so fun.
And I think maybe some of us can, think of times in our lives when we've done that, we've made that courageous decision that we hadn't wanted to do.
Yeah.
And we made it, and then just like a floodgates of the world became magic again, right? The world feels like an adventure.
Did you, and I feel like the people that I interview are really positive people that just kind of believe that, and I, in contrast, am just like a worrier. Like, I always have the, well, what if it doesn't work out, or something like that. Did you always come from that place of believing?
I have always been an optimist, and so that actually wasn't a struggle for me. That reminds me of a quote by Louise Hay. She says, "It's only a thought, and a thought can change." And if we realize that this is just a habit of my mind, that someone else taught me. This is not me.
Yeah.
I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. I am me, this glorious spirit. If we can remember that, then we can train ourselves when our thoughts go this way to just, okay, that's enough energy spent over there.
Yeah.
I'm turning it over here. And that I have had to do in my own way around a lot of things.
What would kind of be like a general, if someone feels stuck right now and is like, oh, I need to feel inspired, let me watch this interview, what would you want to leave them with?
Ooh. The thing that comes to mind is a quote by Rumi. He says, "Whatever you love, you are." What that means to me is that all of these things that you think that you're not, and when you see those things in someone else, that you're like, oh, that's what I want this, I want that. Actually, all of those are yours. Those are all meant for you. And what I've learned how true this is as a life coach, because if someone can articulate for me what it is that they want from their life, what it is that they love, then I just head them in that direction. Okay, go do that, go be that. Because once you do, you feel so aligned.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what that thing is yet.
Yeah.
Do what you love. Do the things that feel good for you and support you and make you feel positive. The things that are dark, including your own thoughts, don't go in that direction. And so just head toward the light and letting love be your guide. Whatever you love, you are.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. And I'm going to put your website information up.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to check it out. I know you have a couple other coaches working with you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me interview you.
Oh, you are so welcome.